The person who hurt you is living rent-free in your head, and they have no idea it's working. But what if I told you the most lethal response isn't rage, it's indifference? Here's what happens to most of us. Someone betrays you, disrespects you, takes advantage, and you spend weeks, sometimes years, replaying it. You craft the perfect comeback. You imagine confrontations. You stew in anger, waiting for the moment you can prove them wrong or make them pay. The problem? They moved on. They're not thinking about you at all. And meanwhile, you're imprisoned by them. You handed them power, not once, but every single day you think about them. This is the trap. The beautiful, invisible trap that catches good people. You believe that anger is strength, that revenge is justice, that holding on to hurt somehow punishes the other person. It doesn't. You're the only one suffering. Most men never realize this. They waste their entire lives trying to destroy people who damaged them. And in the process, they destroy themselves. They become bitter, small, reactive, everything the other person made them. The question isn't, how do I make them pay? The question is, how do I make sure they never own me again? Here's what I'm going to show you today. Not how to get revenge, but how to become so untouchable, so independent, so focused on your own path that the people who hurt you become irrelevant, completely irrelevant. This is the Stoic way, and it's more powerful than anything you could say or do to them.
The best way to destroy your enemy is to become indifferent to their existence. Marcus Aurelius didn't obsess over his enemies. He moved on. He acknowledged the harm, then redirected his energy toward what he controlled, his own character, his own work, his own discipline. Indifference is not weakness. It's psychological dominance. When someone hurts you and you respond with cold, calculated non-engagement, you're telling them, "You're not important enough to affect me." That message, delivered through your actions, your success, your peace, cuts deeper than any words ever could. Think about it. What bothers people more? Your anger or your progress? Your arguments or your silence while you're thriving? Why it works? The person who hurt you is watching. Maybe not consciously, but they are. They wonder what you're doing. They check your social media. They ask mutual friends. They want to know if you're destroyed or if you're okay. And the moment they see you building something, yourself, your life, your peace, that's when they realize they failed to break you. Engagement trigger. How many of you have noticed that the person who hurt you is suddenly more interested in your life once you stopped giving them attention? Drop a comment. Be honest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The external world cannot touch you unless you give it permission. The person who hurt you is external. Their words, their actions, their existence. None of it has to affect your internal state. This is the foundation of Stoic power. Not physical strength, not money, not social status. Mental independence. Stop checking if they've posted. Stop analyzing their moves. Stop waiting for them to apologize or acknowledge what they did. That waiting is a chain. The moment you stop waiting for their validation, for their regret, their apology, their suffering, you're free. Most people can't do this. They need closure. They need the other person to admit fault. They need to be proven right. That need is weakness. It means you're still giving them control. Stoics don't need closure from others. They create it themselves by moving forward. The best revenge isn't destruction. It's becoming someone they could never be. This is where most people get it wrong. They think getting revenge means humiliating the other person, making them regret it, proving they were wrong. The Stoic knows better. The real victory is personal transformation. The real destruction of your enemy's power over you is becoming so excellent that they become irrelevant. Epictetus was enslaved. His master twisted his leg. He said, "If you break it, I will break." His master broke it. Epictetus calmly said, "I told you so." He didn't rage. He didn't plot revenge. He accepted reality and became so mentally superior that his external conditions couldn't touch him. That's real power. When someone hurts you, you have a choice. You can spend energy trying to hurt them back, or you can channel that energy into becoming better. The person who hurt you will see your excellence. They can't help but see it. And that realization that you became great not because of them, but despite them, is a form of destruction they never anticipated. They wanted you to hold back. Instead, you used their betrayal as evidence that you're strong enough to overcome anything. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Every person who hurt you is a teacher, not because they were kind, but because they showed you what you need to overcome. They revealed your weaknesses. They tested your character. The Stoic doesn't waste time hating the teacher. He uses the lesson. Real example. Consider someone who was passed over for a promotion after years of loyalty. The easy move? Bitterness. The company is corrupt. My boss is an idiot. They don't deserve my best work anymore. The Stoic move? Use it. Learn what's needed for promotion. Develop those skills. Build yourself into someone so valuable that the next opportunity is yours. Then leave, quietly, confidently, to something better. Years later, that boss watches you succeed, and he realizes he didn't diminish you, he motivated you. What's one pain in your life right now that you could actually be transforming? Think about it. The answer is more powerful than you realize. Comment what you're going to do with it. Not tomorrow, today. How to practice it today. Take the specific thing that hurt you, the betrayal, the failure, the disrespect. Ask yourself, what skill do I need to ensure this never happens to me again? Not out of fear, out of competence. If someone betrayed your trust, become the most reliable person in your circle. If someone outmaneuvered you, develop strategic thinking. If someone disrespected you, build such a strong reputation that disrespect becomes impossible. This is how you destroy them without touching them. You become untouchable.
You can't control their character, you can only control your response to it. Here's where most people get trapped. They spend energy trying to change the person who hurt them, make them understand, make them feel bad, make them different. You can't. Their character isn't your responsibility. Their choices aren't your burden. The only thing you control is your choice, your response, your boundaries, your direction. Marcus Aurelius had enemies in the Senate, people who plotted against him. He couldn't control their ambition. He couldn't control their hunger for power. What he could control was not becoming like them. He stayed disciplined, principled, focused on his duty. Why it works? The moment you stop trying to change someone else is the moment you become free. Think about this. Every hour you spend trying to make someone understand why they hurt you is an hour they don't deserve. They didn't earn your attention, yet you're giving it to them. You're investing in someone else's development while neglecting your own. The Stoic recognizes this transaction. It's a bad trade, always. The Stoic principle. Epictetus's dichotomy of control states, some things are within your control. Your thoughts, your effort, your values, your response. Some things are not. Their opinion, their character, their conscience. Spend all your energy on what's in your control. Forget the rest. This is the shortest path to peace. The two circles. Imagine two circles. One circle is what you can control, your actions, your discipline, your mind, your effort, your plan. The other circle is what you can't, other people's feelings, their choices, their regrets, whether they apologize. Most people spend 80% of their time trying to affect the second circle, wasting everything, burning out. The Stoic flips it. 80% of energy into the first circle, build mastery there, build a life there, and something happens. The external world shifts because you've changed, not because they have. Engagement trigger. Right now, tell me in the comments, what are you trying to control that isn't yours? What person are you still trying to change? Say it out loud. That's the first step to releasing it. How to practice it today. Write down what happened to you, what they did. Be specific, then ask, what part of this can I control? What can't I? Accept the part you can't. Own the part you can. If they betrayed you, you can't control their betrayal, but you can control your decisions going forward. You can control who you trust. You can control your response. If they disrespected you, you can't control their respect, but you can control your self-respect. You can control walking away. You can control never returning to them for approval. This separation is liberation.
The person who speaks wins the argument. The person who leaves wins the war. The explanation. When someone hurts you, there's a powerful urge to respond, to defend yourself, to explain why they're wrong, to make them understand the damage they caused. Don't. Silence is a weapon most people never learn to use. When you refuse to engage, you're communicating something profound. You're saying, you're not important enough to warrant a response. You're not important enough to make me angry. You're not important enough to change my day. That message, delivered through silence and forward movement, is devastating. Why it works. Think about the last time someone refused to react to you. How did that feel? Worse than if they'd argued, right? Arguments give people energy. They give them proof that you affected them, that they matter to you. Silence removes that proof. It says, you're already forgotten. The Stoics understood this. They knew that words are currency. When you waste them on people who don't deserve them, you diminish their value. When you save them for what matters, they become powerful. The Stoic principle. Marcus Aurelius didn't write lengthy rebuttals to his critics. He didn't argue. He moved on. He documented his thoughts in private meditations and continued his work. His power came from his refusal to be pulled down into the mud with people who wanted to fight him. What silence communicates? Your non-response is a response, the loudest one possible. It says, I don't need your attention. It says, my peace is more important than your drama. It says, you're beneath my concern. Most people can't do this because they need to feel heard. They need validation that they were wronged. They need the other person to acknowledge it. But the Stoic knows acknowledgement from others is irrelevant. You know what happened. That's enough. Engagement trigger. When was the last time you kept your mouth shut when you wanted to explode? And how did that serve you? Drop a comment. These stories are incredible. How to practice it today. The next time someone tries to provoke you, the next time they say something cruel or dismissive or designed to hurt you, don't respond immediately. wait. Then say nothing. Not out of fear, out of choice, out of strength. If you must respond later, do it with cold clarity. No emotion, no defense, just facts. Then move on. But most of the time, silence. Let your actions speak. Let your peace speak. Let your progress speak. That's louder than any words you could say.
The person obsessed with destroying their enemy never builds anything of value. The explanation. This is the final and most important shift. Stop thinking about the person who hurt you. Stop thinking about destroying them. Stop thinking about them at all. Instead, think about what you're building. A great life, a strong mind, a legacy, purpose, excellence. When you focus on creation instead of destruction, everything changes. The energy that was poisoning you becomes fuel for something real. Seneca wrote about a man obsessed with his enemy. He spent years planning revenge. Meanwhile, his real enemy, time, was passing. He was aging. His opportunities were disappearing. He'd wasted his life on hatred. Why it works? Here's the psychological truth. You cannot simultaneously hate someone and build something great. The mind can't do both. It chooses one. If you're focused on your enemy, you're small, limited, reactive. You're living in their world. If you're focused on your purpose, you're powerful, expansive, creative. You're living in your own world. The person who hurt you will notice your absence from their world. They'll realize you've moved on. That realization, that you were important enough to hurt but not important enough to hold on to, is a form of defeat for them. The Stoic principle. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Decide who you want to become, not defined against your enemy. Defined by what you value, what you create, what you contribute. Then pursue it with total commitment. Real example. A man was humiliated publicly by a superior at work. Most people would spend years nursing that wound. But this man had a choice. He channeled his hurt into learning, into building skills, into creating something new. 5 years later, he'd started a company. He was thriving. He'd moved to another city. He'd built a family. He'd created something substantial. His old boss? A footnote. A painful memory that taught him something, but no longer defined him. The boss tried to destroy him. Instead, he motivated him towards something greater. Engagement trigger. Here's my challenge to you. What would you build if you had no enemies? If you had no one to prove wrong? If you had no one to destroy? What would you do with your time, your energy? Write it down, right now. Not theoretically, specifically. What's your thing? How to practice it today. Define your purpose independent of your pain, not as a reaction to what happened, as a declaration of who you want to become. Write it down, be specific. Don't say, "I want to be successful." Say, "I want to build a business that solves this problem." Say, "I want to become the best version of myself in these specific ways." Then use your pain as a data point, as evidence that you're strong enough to handle difficulty, as proof that you're serious. But make it secondary. Your purpose is primary. When you live this way, revenge becomes unnecessary. You've already won. You've already transcended. You've already moved on to something better.
Before we go further, I want to check in with you.
Because everything I've said assumes you're willing to do the actual work. Most people aren't. Most people will watch this video, feel a temporary surge of inspiration, and do nothing differently tomorrow. They'll go right back to obsessing over the person who hurt them, right back to planning revenge, right back to anger. But you might be different. Some of you watching this are serious about moving forward. Direct question, are you one of them? Be honest with yourself. The choice you make right now to stay bitter or to move forward will determine the next 5 years of your life, not the person who hurt you, you. If you're serious, here's what changes today. You stop checking whether they're suffering. You stop hoping karma gets them. You stop investing in their downfall. You invest in your rise.
Let me tie this together, because understanding the theory isn't enough. You need to see how this works in real life. How these lessons work together. Take all 5 principles and watch how they compound. You stop obsessing, indifference, so you have energy. You channel that energy into becoming better, transform pain, so you make progress. During that progress, you encounter obstacles and people trying to hold you back. Control what's yours. You don't fight them. You don't argue. You just move. Silence. You stay focused on what you're building. Build something bigger. And over time, the people who hurt you become irrelevant, not because you hurt them, because you surpassed them. This isn't a fantasy. This is how growth works. The specific pattern to follow. Month 1, acknowledge and accept. Stop denying that you're hurt. Stop pretending it doesn't matter. Accept that it happened. Someone hurt you. It was real. It was painful. Now accept that dwelling on it won't change it. Month 2 through 3, stop engaging. Cut contact. Stop checking. Stop hoping for an apology. Stop trying to make them understand. Clean break. Month 3 through 6, build something. Channel your energy into something real, not as a response to them, as a response to you. What do you want to create? Month 6 through 12, become untouchable. By this point, your life has shifted. You're different. You're making progress. You're building something. The person who hurt you is increasingly irrelevant, not because you hurt them, because you surpassed them. This timeline isn't exact, but the pattern is real. Engagement trigger. Where are you in this timeline right now? Are you in month 1, trying to accept it? Or are you further along? Comment your stage. Help others see the pattern. The warning, the relapse. Most people make progress and then relapse. Something triggers you. You see them at a store. They post something online. Mutual friend mentions them, and suddenly you're back. Angry, obsessed, planning. This is normal. This is human. But here's the Stoic response. Recognize it, acknowledge it, don't judge yourself for it, then consciously choose again. Choose indifference. Choose forward motion. Choose your purpose. Each time you choose again is a rep. It strengthens your mental muscle. The truth about time. There's a lie people tell themselves. They think time heals all wounds. You just wait long enough and eventually you stop caring. That's not true. Time doesn't heal. Intention heals. If you're passive about your pain, it festers. If you're active about it, if you deliberately choose to move forward, transform it, build something new, then time amplifies the healing. 10 years of passive suffering is still suffering. 10 years of active growth, that's a completely different life.
Here's a scenario that happens surprisingly often. You move on, you become better, you build something. And suddenly, the person who hurt you wants back in. Maybe they regret it. Maybe they see your success and want a piece of it. Maybe they're lonely. Maybe they're curious. How do you respond? The Stoic answer: you acknowledge the reality. They're a human being. They made choices. You don't hate them. You don't hold a grudge. But you also don't go backwards. You respond with courtesy but clarity. I've moved forward. I wish you well. But I'm not going back. And you mean it. Not with coldness, with definiteness. This is crucial, because many people will try to pull you back into the dynamic, the drama, the emotion, the unresolved conflict. Don't go. Why they come back? People who hurt you often realize they lost something good when they lost you. They see your growth and wonder what they lost. They experience consequences they didn't anticipate. But that's their journey, not yours. Your job is to stay focused on your path, to not be pulled back into their story, to maintain your boundaries. The final protection. The best way to prevent them from hurting you again is this: don't need anything from them. Not validation, not closure, not revenge, not reconciliation. When you need nothing from someone, they lose all power over you. Most people can't do this. They still want the apology, still want to be proven right, still want the other person to understand. But the Stoic knows understanding from others is a luxury, not a necessity. You know what happened. That's enough. Engagement trigger. Have you had someone come back after you moved on? What did you do? And more importantly, did you almost go backwards? Tell me in the comments, because others need to know they're not alone in that temptation.
Let me end with this. There's shame in being hurt, in being betrayed, in being vulnerable. That shame is false. Everyone gets hurt. Everyone gets betrayed. Everyone is vulnerable. That's not weakness. That's being human. But you know what is weakness? Staying hurt. Staying betrayed, choosing anger over growth, choosing revenge over rise. The Stoic doesn't shame himself for being hurt, but he also doesn't excuse himself for dwelling in it. He acknowledges it, he transforms it, he moves forward. This is strength, not the absence of pain, but the transcendence of it. The person who hurt you was strong enough to damage you, but you're strong enough to recover, to transform it, to become better. You're stronger than they are. Here's my challenge to you, today, right now. Stop thinking about the person who hurt you, for real this time. Instead, think about who you're becoming. If you do this, if you actually do this, 6 months from now, you won't recognize your own life. Your energy will be different. Your focus will be different. Your possibilities will be different. The person who hurt you won't matter. Not because you're numb, but because you'll have moved into a dimension they're not in. That's the destruction they never saw coming, not from your words or actions, from your transcendence. So here's what you do. Tonight, write down 3 things you're going to commit to building. Not against anyone, for you.
your discipline, your skills, your purpose, your excellence. Tomorrow morning, start. Not tomorrow afternoon, not next week, tomorrow. And then you do the work. Every single day, you show up, you build. You become untouchable. The people who hurt you, they'll be wondering what happened to you, how you moved so far ahead, how you became someone they could never touch. And you'll know the answer. You moved forward while they stayed. That's the victory. That's the revenge that isn't revenge. That's the power that never depended on them in the first place. The choice is yours, always has been, always will be. Make it now.